welcome to the Whiskey One podcast, everyone. We are with the Albuquerque Whiskey Society. I have Daniel Warren in the house. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Israel, thanks for having me.
You got it. And we are recording for the Jefferson's Bourbon event, which is here in northeast Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have brand ambassadors from Jefferson's Bourbon here to talk a little whiskey. They got some bourbons, they got a rye, specifically some ocean-aged bourbon. And so, Daniel, I see that we have a little something to sip on. And on that note, just out of curiosity, what's in store for all the AWS members here tonight?
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be tasting the Jefferson's Ocean, Jefferson's Ocean Bourbon, the Jefferson's Ocean Rye, and the very small batch. We have a cocktail when they came in. Pernod Ricard has done a great job of putting this event together, along with Southern distributors here. We have a rep that came in from Pernod Ricard, the ambassador. So tonight is all about Jefferson's, and we are also going to be picking a barrel of the Jefferson's, very nice. The very small batch, 100 proof. And I'll be doing that special barrel pick actually here in just a few minutes with some of my Patreons. So we had a very small amount to pick tonight of 2 different barrels. So unfortunately we can't do a large barrel pick.
Right.
But we're going to be able to pull in 2 or 3 Patreons to come to a table with myself and the ambassador, and we're going to pick the barrel for the group.
Very cool, very cool. I'm excited. I know that Jefferson's Ocean is bringing something different to the table. The aging process is very unique from anything else I've ever seen. The taste is actually somewhat deeper when you drink that Jefferson's Ocean age, whether that be the rye or whether that be the bourbon. It feels a little extra aged than probably what it actually is on the ocean.
Yeah, I think, if you think about it, it's all about surface contact, right? So if you put liquid inside of a container and it moves around, it's going to get more surface contact with that barrel. So it is going to change. It is going to age a little more rapid. And it's going to be different. Right. So we'll find out.
Yep, we are. And I'm excited for tonight. I know we have Wingo from the Jefferson's Bourbon community. He's going to be an ambassador here tonight, and we'll be talking to him shortly. And so let's get things kicked off.
Hi, lady.
All right, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. Whiskey One here, and we have Wingo from the Jefferson's Bourbon brand, right?
Yeah.
And thank you for taking some time out. I know that you guys are super busy tonight, going to be featuring some spectacular whiskey. I'm a fan of Jefferson's, actually. My wife actually got me a bottle of the Ocean Age at Sea.
Yeah.
And I think it was before it got a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
And so we have a quick little rule in the house. Because it was an anniversary gift, I cannot pour it for myself. She has to pour it for me. So that just basically makes sure that I don't go through that bottle too fast.
That's actually a really good. I feel like people should steal that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Also,
well, you can take it if you want.
Yeah, I will. It's a good way to keep some mystery. That's great.
Do you want to kind of talk me through like how you got here?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm actually new to Jefferson's in that I've been an ambassador for a while. I'm just a whiskey nerd that has like leaned forward and been very lucky to get to work with some amazing whiskeys. So how I got here with Jefferson's is actually a buddy of mine, John Little, has a distillery, Smooth Ambler, and Smooth Ambler joined the Pernod Ricard family, as did Jefferson's. And so as Smooth Ambler was joining in, I had a great opportunity to work with Pernod on all their new American whiskeys. So Jefferson's is in that, Smooth Ambler is in that. We also have Rabbit Hole and TX. So I am the global ambassador for all the American whiskeys, and so it's really fun that I actually, like here tonight, we're just going to drink some great Jefferson's. It's a rare treat that I get to just focus on one whiskey. And it's kind of a fun, the way I got into the business, I ran a whiskey shop in Brooklyn, and this is around the time Jefferson's had been around just over 10 years. Yeah, just over 10 years. So it was something that was super intriguing for me as a fan and as a nerd to see someone come in and fill a space that really wasn't occupied. And then it's been really rewarding to come back to it now, we'll just say some years later, and get to see how he's continuing to push the envelope. And then I get to go on that journey with him. But yeah, that's it. I've been able to run around Albuquerque, and I saw Santa Fe today, so it's been a good trip.
Have you had any Albuquerque food? Any authentic New Mexican food?
Today at Santa Fe, I saw there was a burger option that had green chili, and I was like, well, clearly I'm going to do that. So I'm from Texas.
Yep.
Sorry, I know that's a dirty word in these parts.
It's a safe space.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Israel. Yeah. So it's really fun to come have food that is, it feels close, but it is just different enough to enjoy
okay,
it.
so real quick, if burgers are your thing, get an open-faced burger with green chili on top.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It'll take you there.
Fork and knife, or do I look weird with fork and knife?
Oh, no, it's a fork and knife.
Okay, great.
Yeah, oh yeah. It would look weird, actually, if you were using your hands on that.
I got an open face and I put the top on it, and I outed myself as a non-local.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's no failures here. I've seen it all, and I don't think you'll be judged for it as long as you enjoy it. So thank you for that backstory. That helps me and the folks listening in kind of get a perspective on your journey, how you got here, a little bit about yourself, and if I may ask, is there a favorite from the Jefferson's lineup that you find yourself going to time and time again?
Yeah, it's one thing that I actually love about Jefferson's is that there is from batch to batch there's such variation. So it would be
especially those aged in ocean.
The
right?
ocean, yeah, that's maybe the whole point is that you get to enjoy something different. So if I would to say conceptually, I really like that Ocean gets to play with different mash bills. But that said, I cut my teeth with Reserve, and
I'm a fan of Reserve. I'm a fan of
so
Reserve,
good, and the idea of taking maybe older whiskey that at the time it was crazy to take older whiskey and play with it. Like it's funny now that I think more and more people are doing it. But at the time I was like, what are you doing? So I think I'd have to say Desert Island, if Trey could make me like a proprietary, my own blend of Reserve, I would probably take that.
That's awesome. So with everybody joining us tonight, and some folks either having experience with Jefferson's and some folks not, what would you like folks to know? Like, what would be a big takeaway from the folks that are joining us here tonight and sipping whiskey? Like, what would you want them to leave knowing about Jefferson's or being able to say about Jefferson's?
It's a fascinating question because I kind of approach it as like a whiskey nerd, and to watch Jefferson's has been very interesting. It came on the scene before the craft movement. This is 97, but has had to endure all of the novelty and all of the growth the industry has thrown at it. But Trey has not rested on laurels. He wants to do the same sort of innovative stuff that was innovative in 97. What does that look like now?
Right. Which in 97, not to cut you off, but in 97, a lot of things were innovative at that point. Like there was so much that was not done yet.
That's right.
In American spirits anyway.
For sure. Yeah, it was a wide open space. And I think that's another good point is that I think sometimes people can see something out of the blue and say ocean, just age at sea, that seems gimmicky, not knowing Trey's journey that no, he's testing all this stuff. This is his whole pursuit is to think, where can we take Kentucky bourbon? And I think that's the other side of that is I've always been I'm a Texan that's appreciative of whiskey from all over, but when a Kentuckian, like it's multiple generation, I mean his dad's a bourbon historian, if that's what he chooses to want the journey to go, I feel like that's something I think that we should, as whiskey nerds and appreciators, think like, okay, he's wanting to push that. There's a lot of folks that are coming in challenging other aspects of bourbon. I love that he's playing with usually whiskey that's mature, that's done, and then see what you can do with it. I think maybe that would be the biggest takeaway.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's that experimentation, not being afraid to break boundaries or do something different, like do something a little bit outside the norm.
Yeah, not being afraid, but also being very honest with yourself when there's a failure. if there's something that isn't delicious and not passing that on to us. I think that's what's intriguing, is that any new experimentation, we don't always get to taste it because it got shut down.
Gotcha.
And so we get to enjoy the good stuff.
So I'm going to ask one last question.
Okay.
And it's not to put you on the spot, but I heard through the grapevine that the name Jefferson's came about just purely marketing. So if you know the real story, if that is the real story, I'd like to know, because when you hear something to the grapevine, I'd rather get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So there's a couple things at play there. So I think at the time, Trey wanted something that was like Americana, that people could identify with,
Right.
And associated this idea that TJ in '97, TJ was like the one we don't talk about, that was kind of cool, was very innovative, very entrepreneurial, and I think that vibed a lot.
Okay.
But I think he would also agree that at the time he just needed something that would give people an idea that it was American, that there was a new twist on it, and heritage was so important at that time that you couldn't have something totally crazy named. So
Gotcha.
I think it would be interesting to see his take on it, but that's what we've talked about.
Awesome. So I'm sipping on the ocean aged rye. I've never had the rye.
Yeah.
I've had the bourbon, like I mentioned before. I've had the reserve. I had some of the more experimentals, like the Cabernet Sauvignon finish. And actually the cognac finish rye is superb.
Yeah.
I really like that one. I feel like that one's kind of a sleeper. I think, and it might just be, it's not widely available in all markets, but all great things. And I really appreciate you chatting with me and talking a little whiskey.
Man, so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And so when I'm in Texas, I may have to reach out to you, and you're going to have to tell me what I need to eat in Texas.
Yeah, please do. I'm in Dallas, so it's an easy flight over.
Yeah.
Come hang out. We'll make some good decisions together.
I'm sure we will. Stay tuned for that. All right. Wingo, thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Terry, what do you think about this bourbon? Have you tried it?
Yes, I have, and it's so exciting.
I gotcha.
No, actually, it's very good.
Have you ever had the ocean aged bourbon or the rye?
I've had the bourbon.
I've had the bourbon. This is my first time trying the rye.
Oh, they're already passing it out?
No, just to me. I got the special treatment.
This will be our 11th barrel pick that we've done as a group. So we have one that's about to hit stores any day now.
Sweet. Hi, everybody. What's up? Yeah. So I am Wingo. I'm very new to this gig. So I am relatively new to Pernod Ricard. I ran a whiskey shop in Brooklyn. It was called The Whiskey Shop because I am creative. And went from there to, I was an ambassador for a single malt for many years. That job moved me to a place called Texas, where I am from, and I realized I need to say that out front because apparently...
We don't forgive you.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah. So we can be done now. That's cool. I get it. I started working with a buddy of mine named John Little, who started a distillery called Smooth Ambler, and I met him many moons ago in Brooklyn when he was first getting out of West Virginia. He came to New York. He said, hey, we have this whiskey that we are starting in West Virginia. I said, that's weird. Let's taste it. We became friends. So I get to talk about Jefferson's, and I get to talk about Rabbit Hole and TX.
Oh, Rabbit Hole.
Oh, was that a good O or a... Yeah. In many ways, Jefferson predates the craft boom, but we are also in the midst of the craft boom. I just want y'all to know my background so that we can nerd out. I love talking about the category. I love talking about all whiskey in general. We will certainly talk about Jefferson's, but I heard that you guys are good for some questions, and you like to play Stump the Ambassador, and I'm here for it. Is that fair? Make it interactive?
Yeah.
Sweet. The question was there more loss? Yes, there is more loss. More angel share. Yeah.
All right, so I don't know if you guys saw when you came in, but Paul, he put together a huge Glencairn with a huge Glencairn holder, and that's going to be the first thing we raffle off.
Well, that will not happen. It's for the barrelhead. 6-0. Justin Gleason, he was really early. Thank you guys so much. Jonathan, it was great.
All right, folks, so just wrapping things up here. Terrific night, lots of fun with folks and getting to see fans of the AWS as well as fans from the Whiskey One channel. So this was really fun and exciting because I got to try my favorite, a rye. And speaking of which, out of the lineup, they had some Jefferson small batch. They had the Jefferson's Reserve, the Single Barrel Reserve, the Jefferson's Ocean Bourbon, as well as the Jefferson's Ocean Rye. And yes, the Ocean's Rye was my favorite of the bunch. No surprises there. I did ask whether that was going to be bottled at cask strength or released at cask strength, and unfortunately I did get a negative on that one, but that's okay. Right now it is going to be available for a lower price, at least until about Memorial Day. So if you guys can get it, now's the time to do it. The price is going to go up by about $10. But anyway, terrific night. Like I said, we got to sit down, with Daniel and our whiskey ambassador for Jefferson. So hopefully we get to touch base again. And for all you guys checking us out and tuning in, hope to catch you again on the podcast. This will be featured on our YouTube channel as well. So we're looking forward to hearing your feedback. Let me know if you've had a Jefferson's. Certainly would love to get your thoughts on it. Here at Whiskey One, it's about the one you enjoy. Cheers.